How's everyone doing today? This is Adam with Commander on a Budget. Today we'll begin to another episode of Budget Brews. Today we'll be going over Satsuki, the living lore. We finally got our Saga Commander. Let's hop on into it. One quick thing I want to go over before we get into the sagas and stuff, the typical enchantment stuff. Gift of Immortality is real good if you attach it to Satsuki because whenever she'll die, she'll proc off her effect, she'll come back to the field, and then this will come back attached to her at the end of turn. It's real great. With that out of the way, let's hop into some sagas that I think are really good in this deck. So we're going to start with Elspeth Conqueror's deck. This is one that I've talked about here on the channel before. History Benalia is real great to make tokens and give them an anthem. The Birth of Meletis is a great way for you to filter lands and make creatures. The First Iroh in Games is a great way to make a board, draw cards, and create mana. The Mending of Dominaria, one of my personal favorites, is a great way for you to get back specific lands from your graveyard or just all lands. It's also a really good combination with Follow the Thran, where you destroy everybody's lands. I don't recommend everybody should play this card. Play it if your playgroup is okay with it, or if you just don't want to have friends. Okay, now that I mentioned that, back to the video. In Neon Dynasty, we got a lot more sagas to work with, so we have Azusa's Many Journeys that transforms into Likeness of the Seeker. This pretty much lets you untap lands, lets you play multiple stuff. It's real good. There's Boseiju Reaches Skyward that transforms into Branch of Boseiju, which can become a beater depending on how many lands you have. Teachings of the Kirin, which transforms into Kirin Touched Orochi. This card's a fantastic utility card. My favorite card out of the new set that you could run in here, though, is probably Machiko's Reign of Truth, that transforms into Portrait of Machiko. This card by itself can really get out of control because you're going to be running a bunch of enchantments. The entire theme of Enchantress is also really good, especially in our colors, so we can run into cards like Sith's Harvest Hand, Enchantress's Presence, Mesa Enchantress, Yavimaya Enchantress, which can also double as a beat stick, along with Verduran Enchantress, which are all great ways to utilize a bunch of enchantments coming into play, which will hopefully be able to do a whole lot. In this deck, just like a lot of my enchantment themes, I would also run a slight token package, so you can run cards like Archon of Sun's Grace, Sigil of the Empty Throne, Ajani's Chosen, along with Hollowed Haunting are all absolutely fantastic game enders. I will say Hollowed Haunting is a little expensive for my budget normally, but it's still a really good card. Some other really good game enders in this deck are cards like Catilda Dawnheart Martyr and Nylea's Colossus. These cards can really get out of control if not answered. One last thing I want to go over when it came to making this deck, I wanted to make sure that I had like a theme of being able to move counters around or remove the saga counters off of the sagas. So cards like Power Conduit's real good. But probably the best way for you to be able to move counters on would be Nesting Grounds. This card's absolutely insane in this deck. Last three cards I'm going to go over are cards that you can use to untap her. So Kirin Ranger, Scribe Ranger, and Seeker Skybreak are all fantastic ways for you to be able to untap Suzuki.